Good day everyone and welcome to Ian Robinson at IR Photo Tours. Today we are going to be speaking about astrophotography, a subject that I really love. Now, can we do it on a budget? And can we do it with the photography gear that we already have in our bag? Let's find out after this. Thank you very much to everyone for subscribing to me and supporting my channel. If you like what you see and you enjoy my videos and content, please consider subscribing down below and hitting that bell notification. Thank you very much. So moving on, I have been into astrophotography in one form or another since I was a child, many moons ago. Please pardon the pun. So I couldn't find where the stars were or what constellations were, the names of them, where and how to find them in the night sky. All I saw at the time were stars everywhere. I've always been fascinated by those stars, but not being able to pinpoint them down. You know, that was until recently when I decided to challenge myself into another genre of photography. Now, the genre being astrophotography. Now, I've been doing landscape, wildlife and portrait for a very long time, and this time I just needed to challenge myself a little bit more. I did wonder, like probably most of you out there, do you need a telescope? And the answer to that is, from my recent findings, is particularly no, although it does help if you want to go really deep into space and really look at these massive planets, you know, these planets, these like the Jupiter and Saturn and Venus and places like that, and you want to view them really quite well in the frame. Saying that, there are lenses out there at the moment that do pretty much similar things to a telescope, albeit at a higher level of aperture. And that is the understanding between telescope and lens. A lot of lenses can't get that reach. So for example, this particular telescope here is the 8-inch telescope that I've been looking at, and it's a Celestron. And it's kind of, do I go for it, don't I? I am still toying with the idea of do I or don't I? And what will it give me? What will I gain from it as compared to this setup behind me? Now, I am brand new to astrophotography, really. In the big grand scheme of things, people have been doing astrophotography for years and years. I have only just recently been hitting onto nebulas, which is like amazing for me. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's not all about the gear, I don't think. Now, this video is about what we can use that we've already got in our kit bag to do astrophotography. Here are some recent images I've taken with what I already own in my photography kit bag, with the exception of a couple of extras that I will come back to shortly. Okay, so what did I use for these images? Firstly, a Canon EOS R and a Canon M6 Mark II. Now, the Canon M6 Mark II and the Canon EOS R, both these cameras are more than capable of capturing deep space objects. The M6 is a cropped 32 megapixel camera, and the camera is perfect for reaching out with a long lens on the moon and the planets, where the EOS R, being a full frame, tends to be more wide angle sort of stuff, like nebulas and kind of stuff like that. So they're two different cameras doing two different things really. But I think, you know, at 32 megapixels, this Canon M6 Mark II, which I'm being videoed on right now, seems to be an incredibly good camera for reaching out there and getting the planets and what have you with a long zoom lens on, and it works extremely well. So we're going to play a bit more with that as time goes on. Okay, so both cameras, this one and this one, the EOS R, are perfect cameras for putting wide angle fast lenses on. Now the fast lenses, we're going to talk about the lenses in a minute, and the lenses that I like using for the Milky Way, for example. This shot behind me, that was a panoramic I'd done earlier this year of the Milky Way over the lighthouse at Haysborough. You've seen this shot before. I've done a video. There's a link up there about this video and how I shot it. And it was all shot with the M6 Mark II and a wide-angle 16mm lens. That 16mm lens on the Canon M6 Mark II is actually cropped and will give you an equivalent focal length of 24mm. But the beauty of it is it's an f1.4 lens, so it's incredibly fast and you can keep your shutter speeds down, and that I used, and that picture there was without the star tracker, and the star tracker's there, and I didn't use the star tracker on that particular shot. I just straightforward shots, very, very clean, very fast, 15 seconds ISO 800 I believe, so it was very, very quick. And as you can see by that shot there, it was very bright and very nice. It was well taken. A little bit soft in the stars, but then 15 seconds, even at 15 seconds, you're still gonna get a tiny little bit of trail with those stars. And I shot at f1.4 as well, so it's a wide open. So you, again, on the edges, you probably get a little bit of star trailing there. Okay, so moving on with these shots, the nebula and the Andromeda Galaxy, I used the Andromeda Galaxy. Let's talk about that. What did I use there? I used the Canon 100mm to 400mm f4.5 to 5.6, and that's the Mark II version. Now, I've not really done a lot of processing with the Galaxy on here, and that is how it's come out. With the f1.400 100 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6, I also put on, to get closer to the Andromeda, I put on a 1.4 converter onto that. Now with that in mind, that now gives me an f8. Now f8, I had to shoot at 5 minutes per shot, and I wanted as many photos as possible, anywhere between 60 to 90 images that I could stack later on in a software that's on the iMac, and it's called Starry Sky Stacker or something like that. Starry Star Tracker, Stacker. Now that in itself is a great tool to use, and what it does, it picks out all the bad photos. So anything with satellites in or anything like that, it will basically get rid of them in the software and then stack all the best images. So hence why you need quite a few frames to be able to stack and give yourself a fighting chance of getting a really nice, sharp, clean, crisp image with basically the colours in there as well. So that's what you're after, the colours in the Galaxy and what have you. So that is what I used for the Andromeda M31 Galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years away. which is phenomenal in itself, and it is one of the biggest galaxies in our system. We have the second biggest. So our galaxy that we're in, and you get that galaxy, obviously your Milky Way, that is the second largest galaxy that we have. Didn't know that until recently, so I've been getting into it. So that is the 100 to 400mm lens, very, very useful for a lot of astrophotography. I used that for the moon. I put the 2x converter on it and shoot the moon with that. And that is fantastic as well. So you're getting an 800mm on a full frame, or if I couple it, which I would do if I was shooting the moon, I'd couple it onto the M6 Mark II, and that would give me 1250mm, something like that, without doing the maths. So anyway, that is a good tool. This nebula behind me, which is the North American Nebula, which apparently looks very similar to North America, and I think it does. So there's an image side by side. That is phenomenal. That is mind-blowing that there's a nebula out there in the deep space, and it looks and resembles North America and the Gulf of Mexico down the bottom there. Incredible, incredible. I find it absolutely fascinating, space. I really do. So that is the other thing that we would need. So Canon EOS R, because it's a wider field of view, and the Canon 70 to 200mm f2.8 lens. Now that's my portrait lens there. So anyone that likes their portraits, you're possibly going to have that lens. It is a standard, pretty standard lens in your kit bag for portraits. Just to note that these cameras and lenses, they're kind of what you probably have in your kit bag if you were into the genres that I mentioned before, either wildlife or portrait and landscape. So I'm lucky in the respect that I love all three of those, and I have those lenses in my kit bag. So that just literally really just flows into astrophotography for me. Moving on though, because I live in the city and it's Norwich, then I am in a polluted area. Now, as you've seen, that image there, I got beautifully in my back garden, and that amazed me. Do light pollution filters work? I promise you that particular one does. I hope you can see that there. It's the CLS Astronomik, and it's for the Canon EOS R, and it's a clipping filter, and what it does is it clips between your lens there and the actual sensor of the Canon EOS R. Now, it's not cheap, at nearly £200. It's a bit of a, if you don't know whether it's going to work or not, and you buy it for £200, you kind of cringing a little bit and worrying. Saying that, if it didn't work, it'd be going back, and I'd hopefully get my money back. But it does work, and it works extremely well. So I'm so pleased about that. So that is the filter. That's an extra because I live in the city. If you don't live in the city and you're lucky enough to live out in the sticks, and it's a really nice dark place to live, then lucky you. I'm jealous because you've saved yourself nearly £200 if you've got the Canon EOS R. This is quite important because that there is a laser, and that is extremely dodgy, really. And the only time I use that is for verification on the stars. So for example, if I'm polar aligning with said star tracker, okay, that one there, if I am polar aligning with that, I will polar align at the degrees. So using, again, there's probably loads and loads of videos out there how to use these star trackers, but here in Norfolk and the UK, especially Norfolk, we are at 52 degrees. That is 52 degrees up to the North Star, and if you set your star tracker there at 52 degrees, then you are going to be pretty much at the right height of where the North Star is. Now, if people don't know where the North Star is, I'm going to show you. It's on here, and basically it's round about that area. I'm going to pinpoint it and zoom in. Okay, there you go. Now that is the North Star, and the North Star is basically where you need to polar align and get it correctly in your polar finder. Now that is your finder there, and this finder, this tube here, is what you look through, and because it's such a narrow field of view, it's very easy just to, you've got to really be quite fine-tuned with it. So hence why the 52 degrees is if you get there and you're roughly north and you've got 52 degrees, you're going to be pretty close, and pretty quickly you're going to find the North Star. And this little video here, which I tried to do and do it with my phone, which was nigh on impossible, but it shows you the viewfinder inside that scope there. There's a section there, and the star, North Star, needs to be, and it is, but you can't see it very well because I'm not doing very well with doing a video on this, but it needs to be between the 9 and the 10 on the line there. Okay, so other than a star tracker, which is another video all on its own, and it is an extra, but for £300, I think that's something that you can put in your kit bag, go somewhere, go anywhere really, and take excellent photos of the Milky Way or nebulas or anything like that. And it's so transferable, it's so small, it can go in the kit bag with you. Which is fantastic compared to other star trackers, which are massive, on a massive mount, and they're not so easy to transport everywhere. We're only using a 70 to 200mm lens, or the 100-400mm lens maximum on it. But saying that, that is not really designed for that either. I am actually investing in this particular one, which is a Pro. I've got it on order, and that in itself is only £300 plus, and it is fantastic. So that will cope with the 100mm to 400mm lens all day long, and it does seem a better star tracker than the Ioptron here, which is more for wide angle lenses than it is for zoom lenses. The other thing that I use on here, and on my lenses of course, now the common problem with astrophotography is the especially in autumn, come to autumn, winter time, you've got dew and you've got frost and all that sort of thing going on. It's cold weather. So what I've invested into here is a lens warmer, and lens warmers in themselves are relatively cheap. I'm going to put links down below for all of this, by the way, and where you can buy it. And if you it's affiliated links, so if you go onto it and you buy from the Amazon or wherever I've put it, then perhaps you can support me in that way as well, which would be fantastic. So anyway, moving on, lens warmer. So lens warmer you buy, it's relatively cheap, as I say, and this particular one has a mode on it, so I can heat it up to 3 different settings, and also the battery to go with it. So the battery in itself is a great battery, it's a big battery, so you can actually charge your mobile phone or whatever you want to charge via USB. Great idea. Next thing that I use is the intervalometer. Intervalometer is a very important thing to use. This particular one, as if you own the Canon EOS R, by the way, you'll know that you don't get an internal intervalometer, which is a bit annoying considering, you know, other cheaper models have it, and this one doesn't, and yet £2,300 when it was new, and you don't get an intervalometer. Naughty. But there you go, I could have put that in, but there you go. Only a little gripe, but saying that, you can buy the Neewer, don't buy the Canon. Canons are horrendously expensive. I don't understand why they've priced them the way they have. They're no better than a Neewer, Neewer, £20, lovely old job. Thank you very much. So that is the Neewer, very good value for money. So these are the extras that you'd probably go to if you didn't have it in your kit bag to start with. Now, most people have got a light. I have a head torch here, which is a fantastic head torch. There you go. And it does all kinds of manner of things. And that, on Amazon, £15. Rechargeable batteries that you can recharge, and that's fantastic. Obviously you need a tripod. I think that goes without saying. Just to recap, extras. Possibly an extra, 15 quid. If you haven't got it already, if you're doing landscape photography, possibly you've got it. An Neewer intervalometer, £20. That is possibly an Astro thing, to be honest. The heat, the lens warmer and the battery, I think roughly combined, that was around about 30 quid, something like that. In the link below anyway, you'll find out. So that was extra. And of course the sky tracker, that is extra as well at £300. So what are we looking at, about £400 extra, roughly? And if you're in a light polluted area, yes, that's the expensive bit, unfortunately, and that is £200. So you are looking at around about £600 extra on top of what you already own, probably, on top of that, to actually do astrophotography extremely well, I think, incredibly well. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I just want to say, actually, I just want to big up one person that I've been following and getting plenty of information, and that is a young lady called J-Ling, and it's J-Ling Astrophotography. I'll put a link up there, J-Ling Astrophotography. J-Ling, she's been very helpful with passing her knowledge over to me, and she's one of my subscribers, and thank you for subscribing to me, J-Ling. By the way, if you're watching, that's been very, very helpful, what you've come up with. If you were to further your astrophotography, so once you've got this gear, to further it more, then an external screen for the Canon EOS R is a very good idea, in the respect that if you put that lens on with your 2x converter, put it onto your Canon EOS R, don't worry about the intervalometer. You can, you can't, it's up to you, totally up to you. But if you're viewing the moon, you can then put the external screen on, view the moon through the external screen, put it into video mode, and you can have up to 10 times crop on the moon, and it looks absolutely amazing when it's in 4K, 10-bit. It is just bonkers. And go over to J-Ling's channel, have a look and see what you think. I was blown away with what she was doing there with the external screen. Now, I have been looking at this Ninja 5 for a while because I can see different areas of where I can go with this Ninja 5, and it can actually transport my channel a little bit further on and make it a little bit better in certain areas. And astrophotography, blown away. Go over to her channel, have a look at some of what she's been doing lately, and how she's been using this new Canon 800mm lens. And that's all I can say, really. I think that's it. I think that is it. We've covered pretty much everything there. So anyway, I hope you found this very interesting. Maybe not very interesting, but I hope you found it interesting and you've learned a little bit from me on this video on how I shoot the Astro. And yeah, we probably go on further from here and see where we go. All right, guys, well, thank you very much for watching. It has been a lovely old job.